Alrighty, howdy my fellow Americans. Welcome to 1K World Cup 2026. We got the All-American 1K match happening right now. It is going to be the Untied States versus the United States. That's right. If you couldn't tell from my very southern accent, we have a All-American 1K World Cup match where the two United States teams will duke it out for the final spot in the losers bracket, for the losers grand finals, actually, to punch their ticket into the losers grand finals is what I was going to say. I am the only non-American commentator here, Sunny here, commentating this match, and I will be doing this alone. And honestly, this is going to be very interesting because these two teams, honestly, it is going to be something, because one of these teams is heavily, I think ever since round of 16 has been in the losers bracket, so they have had heavy experience duking it out in the losers bracket. But the other team, or the other country, which is the United States, this is their first time being in the losers bracket this tournament. So, with this in mind, I mean, well, to be fair, they had to play their first match before this, their conditional against France. So, I guess you have that. But, anyway, with both these teams, it's honestly not only going to be extremely confusing, but also going to be very fun watching this play out. As just waiting for Untied States for their first pick here. It will be a duo only for them. It is only going to be Minus and Wowie. I feel it? Or did I mess things up? I think I might have messed things up. You see, this is I kind of knew this was gonna happen. Couldn't we not have a different country? Anyway, this is going to be the most confusing match of all time. Anyway, Hybrid 3 is going to get picked. I don't even want to talk about it. Just get this over with. Yes, I know. Anyway, now okay, we have the correct pick now. It is the United States, not the Untied States, going for Hybrid 3, which this wasn't picked against their match against Portuguese, but it was picked against Untied States and France, and they, I believe, won that pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they did win that pick. And I mean, this is definitely one of the hardest picks we have in this pool because of its nature of just snaps that, like, even Jay himself couldn't even, like, fathom to say in the map pool notes when I was given them in the showcase. So, and like I said, this is the Untied States are going in with only two players. Dan and FFam couldn't make it for this match. Wait, no, sorry, Sparky and FFam couldn't make it. Oh my goodness, couldn't make it for that for their team. Well, I believe Dan is unavailable for the United States. So, yeah, I mean, FFam technically is here in the chat room. Just, I mean, I did send you the invite to the lobby. You can join up whenever you want to. Totally, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think really the big aspect when it comes to these hybrid picks and these more LN-based picks is that, I mean, Minus is a good substitute for Sparky, but Sparky has been like known for this team as their hybrid and LN gauntlet, as she is really good. Like, that is her specialty for the LNs. And actually, Biscuit going to pick up the first break, but immediately traded back for Minus, and Minus has it a lot more worse than what Biscuit dropped, as Minus basically got chained after with a lot of very nasty judgments. As like I said, these snaps are brutal. These very flams, like these flams that are very tight to release on, you cannot mess up one, else that'll lead to a massive chain of bad judgments like what Minus received there. But Biscuit's starting to pick up a couple more accuracy drops, but then again, Minus trades it back, so not really any harm there or foul, and Minus just really not finding their groove near the end. And same with Biscuit, it's mainly just been Aki who's not even holding on to an FC. I just realized Wowie is the only one that held, I believe that's an FC, I think, from Wowie. Yeah, it is. Wowie just really, just absolutely crushing that chart. But yeah, I mean, this map is so easy to slip up on. It is unreal. And once like you get one break, it pretty much chains into a lot of other nasty judgments, which really caught up Minus in the long run, which then again gives the United States the first point, but it was off their own pick, so it won't be anything detrimental to the Untied states. But it is very unfortunate that the Untied states do not have their very strong LN or hybrid, like their hybrid / LN main with them, which is Sparky. I believe she's out for the weekend. I was notified ahead of time when I signed up for my temporary commentator job. But I mean, I mean, even then, still very solid performance from the Untied states. I feel like if they really want to go into that radar of picking the hybrids, they would probably want to pick something a lot more light, such as Hybrid 2. Or maybe even test some of the LNs, like LN1. Or they can just keep rocking. That too. But it is the Untied states, and we're gonna see SV get picked here. Now this is something I'm excited for, because then again, this is a situation where the Untied states played this against France, and they pulled off a very incredible performance. I believe both players learned the map, and they beat France on that pick. But we never saw the United States pick this, and I think we all know the player that we are talking about here. Wait a second. Why is Aki not here? Is it what? Huh? The players are ready. I thought surely Aki would have joined in for this pick. Okay. You know what? Maybe Biscuit and Sleepy Fluffball have like absolutely crazy scores. I mean, like, both these teams are absolute units when it comes to the SV. And I'm receiving word that it's, quote, "we have to make it fair" from Aki. So, you know what? Well, let's see. Quote, "making it fair" from Aki, who I would say is probably the SV prospect in 1K. As this map, I mean, to be fair, to give the benefit of the doubt for the players here that aren't, you know, insanely god at SVs, this is a lot more forgiving on its reading side than its gimmick. As I mean, semifinals was absolutely brutal to read, but with this map, it has a fairly simple graph to read. It's just its gimmick is really hard, as you have to hit some of these notes twice, and it's kind of like your playfield kind of, you know, deceiving you here, is that it's only showing one note when in reality you need to hit two, as you can see from this combo meter. And Minus picking up a break here while everyone else managing to keep things fair. Ball Sleepy Fluffball, Biscuit, and Minus all picking up breaks here, but Minus is really starting to struggle here on this back half. This is where things pick up very, very hard, and all the way down at a 91, while Woey is absolutely just doing the groundwork here. 99.62 for them. This is roughly almost the same they had, I believe, in their match against France for the Untied States. And they're putting up a really good performance here. Minus is starting to make a steady recovery, but that's 30,000 points in favor of the United States. So they need to, the United States need to start pulling up some misses here with Minus being on their best run. But, I mean, there's one from Fluffball, but it's not really going to matter. And now Woey unfortunately finds the break, and no more FCs remain on the side of the Untied States. It is all for the United States to run away with. Unfortunately, just Minus having a really hard time in that second half. And with that, it's just too late for miracles, as the United States is going to take the break point on the SV here, despite Woey's best efforts to keep things in the game here, as that is a crazy score. Only one miss, a 99.2, and I'm honestly hyping up this just to see Aki post in the score posting channel like a 995.3 or something like that on this. And okay, what? That's also really impressive that Fluffball with a S rank managing to do this within the hour break they had between after the match against Portuguese, which proves my point even further that this map is easier to read than the last week's semifinals SV, but just unfortunate for Minus. That back half really got to them. But the United States now, with a breakpoint in their back pocket, they can start going. I would say maybe they're starting to eye those speed picks, as those have yet to be touched yet in this finals weekend. That and Hybrid 4 have yet to be played. Everything else has been played at least once, except for Speed and Hybrid 4. And there it is, Speed 2 going to be the verdict from the United States. This is what I was expecting, because this United States team loves the speed. As, I mean, like I was saying in the match against Portuguese, Aki is one of the most physical one-key players that have been at least in presence so far. They have really broken the barriers of some of these maps here. We were joking about, or I was joking about, because there's no one else here outside of the streamer. I was joking about how Zubin would always play stuff on DT, and then everyone would get a joke out of that. That's pretty much the same with Aki. They are willing to play some of the hardest maps that that one key has to offer, and just absolutely make light work of it. So going into a speed pick here, Speed 2 to be exact, I believe this is the map that has the really funny ending. I think. Yeah, with all the timing changes from 296 or 148 to 296, 216, and 324. So this map has its fair share of timing changes, and the ending is a really funny monkey wrench thrown in for these players. So going to see Biscuit and Aki in for the United States. The same for the Untied States of their same two players, as it'll be the only two players from them, like I said, because FN and Sparky. Well, technically FN is here, but I don't think they'll be showing up in the lobby. But here we are, in with the main section of the map so far. These very fast 3-note bursts. I believe at 1/8. And it's just right now Minus having a bit of a struggle on these more faster bursts, which will give the United States an early lead. Same with Wowie dropping their accuracy below with what Biscuit and Aki have, but still keeping it very strong. Only around 20,000 points of difference is the matter here. Everyone's still holding up with their combo, so it can flip at any given moment if any nasty breaks do happen. And like I said, this map has a lot of timing changes, as well as also the ending, which is a very funny ending. But Minus gonna be the first to break here, and with that, 30,000 points is the margin between the United States and the Untied States, as the United States are performing fairly well on this. Wowie trying their best here, and I mean, there is still a lot of map left to go, and it only takes a couple mistakes from the United States to equalize things here. And here come another timing, here comes another 1/6, 1/4. Will not affect anyone. And here comes the thrash metal section. Will this mess up anyone here? That lead is... I saw the score bar shrink just a tad bit. I think it's because Minus is starting to catch up with the accuracy here. They have slowly begun to find the groove, but here come the flams. Here comes the solo. Minus and Wowie both picking up accuracy drops. Everyone here finding accuracy drops, but everyone keeping the combo intact. Biscuit finds some drops in accuracy. Minus, Wowie, everyone besides Aki, who is the only one here, I believe, still on a V1 SS, maybe a 200 or so down, but Minus is going to be the first to break again here. I believe they broke earlier. Everyone else, though, keeping the combo in play, and the map is going to end with these flams and bursts, and that is going to do it. The United States going to capitalize off of their breakpoint here. A very, very clean effort from both players here, and that was a V1 SS run from Aki until that one singular 200 came in. Everyone else holding down the FC. Unfortunately, Minus just not finding much comfort in those very, very fast bursts. But wow, I mean, 99.83, 94K from Aki and 1/200. Man, all right. It's now the Untied States' turn to pick here, and I feel like maybe you go for Rice 1 or Rice 3. Or you can also opt for Hybrid 2. Those are my 3 picks in mind. I don't know if they want to go for the Rice, as the vast majority of their picks against France was in the LN/hybrid department, with I believe only Rice 3 getting picked. So we're gonna have to see what they want to go for. And yes, Deltarune just a week away, everyone. Hope all of you Deltarune fans are happy, while us Danganronpa fans are starving for 2x2's release date. Hooray. And yeah, we are going to see the first Rice pick come out here for this match, and it's going to be Rice 1. And I was alluding to this, that maybe they kind of take their foot off the more physical stuff and start going towards these more consistency-based picks. And I feel like this is maybe their strategy here, to try to beat up the United States on the accuracy game, try to get that consistency in, as this is a very lengthy map. It is almost 4.5 minutes of pure consistency. and pretty much the ultimate consistency test in this round. So it's up for the Untied States to see if they can get a point on the board with a pick like this and not afford to give another breakpoint over to the United States, which honestly for a pick like this can definitely work in their favor if they play their cards right. As like I said, this is a very lengthy map, so breaks can happen on the fly. But we're gonna have to see how this one will play out. Looks like we're gonna see a sub-in from Fluffball with M-Biscuit. Aki will stay in. And here we go. And here we go, underway with Rice 1. The accuracy / consistency battle here. As this is a pretty light map, only with... I feel like it's just... You really have to watch out for those sneaky 1/3s. Okay, and here come the streams that will really test that consistency factor. And right now, it's just going to be this really tightly knit score difference unless something major happens. And I can definitely envision a world where maybe a player will mess up on the doublets if they're not careful, or that very fast burst, which actually catches up minus. I forgot those jump scares of bursts are in that map, or in this map right here, but that's 8,000 points in favor of the United States with still 3/4 of the map left to go. That is the benefit of this map, where if you get your combo breaks out early and your accuracy back up, then you should be fine and you can slowly chip away back at this lead. And with minus, it can definitely happen here, as they're already recovering very well in the accuracy department. There's well enough notes to climb their combo up to the 400 combo cap to ease that score lead going in favor of the United States. And now all you need is to really pray just for one of these players to maybe misread one of these doublets, or maybe just double tap, or anything to really equalize what's happening here, as it's Aki versus Wowie. Right now, they're tied in accuracy here. It's just Biscuit managing to beat out minus here in the accuracy game of a difference of a singular miss. And everyone hitting that burst fairly well. Wowie actually managing to out-act Aki here by only 1/100th of a percentage, as minus continues to climb the accuracy. They're now just a 1/10 of a percentage behind Biscuit, and as I say that, the lead slowly shrinks, but I believe there's a 200 from minus, so that will open things back up to 11,000 points or so. I just do get a little bit of a break section here, but I would really call this a break, honestly. And I mean, minus is really having a very steady recovery, but Biscuit now back up to the 99.8 mark. Some of these gallops mixed in between with these streams here. It's going to come down to the final quarter. All that is needed is just maybe even 2 breaks on the side of the United States. And if minus can keep on climbing this accuracy, then it is not over for the Untied States, as they can start clipping away at this lead. It's slowly but surely they're clawing back. 10,000 points is not that much in the grand scheme of things. It's just that the United States are so consistent with this map. And I mean, there is still the ending left, but I mean, as time slowly begins to fade away, It's looking very, very unlikely. And yeah, I mean, with only this final part of the map left to go, it looks like the United States is going to take a break point here, as I thought that maybe things could change, but no, their consistency game just absolutely flawless. And oh, it did come down to those 200s and the break from Minus, unfortunately. As I believe if a V1SS or maybe even just an extra 200 was on that side, then that would have went over to the Untied States. But can we just take a moment to just talk about the other scores as well? Everyone else getting a V1SS, Aki getting a 998, Woey actually taking the MVP here, almost at 999k from them. Incredible scores, and Biscuit as well with a very solid ratio as well. Minus actually beating out Biscuit in the ratio department, but Aki talking, seeing if they can redo Hybrid 3. To that I will say no, unfortunately. Because I think Jay would kill me. But the United States going to go for Rice 3. I was waiting for this pick to come out. I didn't know when, but I knew that this would get the pick, as this is probably the United States one of the most comfortable maps for them. They are all sorts of, they are used to playing maps like this. This is pretty much their comfort zone when it comes to these the very fast flams, the very fast gallops and bursts, and then the vast majority of the map being stream based as well. But the Untied States did play this as well against France, and they took that pick. That was actually the first pick of the match, and it was a very solid effort, but no one getting above 950k in that match, so might be a bit weary for the Untied States going into this, as this is a lot more physical than what Rice 1 was, as you're playing some very, very fast streams at some point. But here we go as the map starts up. It's going to be There Are Many Colors. Holy crap, we're tied. Aww. But yeah, really with this map, the only difference, like the only part that doesn't really have the primary streams is just the opening. Like the first section of the map, it has some flames, has some bursts, has some gallops in there, the usual, and then the rest of the map is mainly just stream focus. And if these players can make it out of this section relatively unfazed, then the rest of the map should be a cakewalk for them. As you can see, this section is quite brutal, but thankfully you're playing on OD4, so your release window is quite large. So these short LNs can, however, it can take a little bit of a toll on your act. It won't really matter much in the long run because you do have a ton of notes to get that act back up. But Minus really struggling on that burst there. They're down at the low 98 right before the streams come into place here. And 24,000 points separate the two countries here. And now Woey, no more FCs remain on the Untied States. It's Biscuit and Aki running away here into the next part of these very long streams. 40,000 points is the difference. And with only a third of the map left to go. It's such an unfortunate turn of events here. As, I mean, the map does pick up to 240 BPM stream as well, so maybe it's not entirely over yet. There is still map left to go. But with how consistent the United States have been on all these picks, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do this here. And I feel like it's just time is just ticking here for the Untied States, unfortunately, for this pick, as 62,000 points of margin as the final stream / gallop session comes raining down. And it is going to be another point for the United States. Just only less than 500 points shy of a 1.99 million score there. But the Untied States are the Untied States now at the brink of elimination here, as what could possibly be their last pick here in this tournament, as the United States are on a match point situation. And oh my goodness, we should look at Aki's score for a minute. 994 with 100 and 4 200s. Mind you, Biscuit also got a V1SS and with a 994K as well. And Aki still beat Biscuit. That is a crazy score from both players. I think that was a sub 50 as well. Hold on, let me double check just to make sure. Yeah, sub 50 300 count. My goodness, Aki. Just waiting to see what the Untied States is gonna go for here. I mean, maybe LN1. No! Speed 1 going to be the pick here. I thought we would see LN1 get the pick here, but we're actually gonna see the last speed pick here. A very interesting choice from the Untied States, because like I mentioned, none of the speed picks have yet to be picked outside of Speed 2 earlier in the match. But before this match, none of the speed picks got picked. So this is the first time that we are going to see Speed 1 today. Yeah, we are going to be seeing Biscuit and Aki in for this pick. Looking to shut the door on the Untied States and secure for the second year in a row a podium placement in this tournament. But there's only one more pick that separates that dream from happening. It could possibly be this pick right here. Well, here we go. And with Speed 1. This map differs a bit from Speed 2. Then again, it's not as fast. and it doesn't focus on much different timings. It's only 1/3 and 1/4 at a steady 260 BPM. So it's a lot more consistent than what Speed 2 was. So the Untied states, as long as their consistency remains very strong at this very fast BPM caliber, which, to be fair, Minus has been missing a lot on these more faster picks, where the density really picks up a couple notches. So it can be a bit dangerous for Minus, but so far having a much better start than previous picks like this, as it is roughly 10,000 points of difference in favor of the United States, as Wowie is trying to keep Aki at bay here, while Minus just needs to catch up a bit here. And honestly, they can definitely do it as long as they keep their consistency like this, but Wowie is actually going to pick up a break. And now this lead is going to balloon to almost 30,000 points on the side of the United States. And as we head into the chorus, it's just going to be nothing but these bursts here. Wowie going to find another break on that section. And headed into the final quarter now, 55,000 points between these two teams. And what was a very close 10,000 points, now almost 60,000, as Minus is trying their best to keep that combo in play. They're doing a very good job here. It's just that Wowie unfortunately found a few breaks in the map, and as the map nears its final moments, only this outro here with these 1/3 to round out the map. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. For the second year in a row, the United States will punch their ticket to the podium, and the losers just punch their ticket into the grand finals. Congratulations to the United States, unfortunately having to eliminate the Untied states. This is a textbook definition of friendly fire. Like, it doesn't get more friendly fire than this. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to the Untied states. But for the United States, they have just punched their ticket into the top 3 for the second year in a row, and also will be having a spot in the grand finals, and will be versing the loser, either Japan or the United Kingdom, which I believe this will be the exact same podium placers as last year's 1K World Cup, being Japan, the US, and the United Kingdom, all in the grand finals. But can definitely be a different outcome than what 1K World Cup 2025 was. But speaking of the United Kingdom and Japan, that winners bracket finals match will be tomorrow at 13 UTC. So that'll be tomorrow, Sunday. So that will wrap up the matches for this Saturday. I've been Sunny commentating this match, and we will see you all tomorrow at 13 UTC. Goodbye.